Fighting has largely been concentrated in Goma, capital of the mineral-rich North Kivu province, where over 700 people are now confirmed to have died, with nearly 3,000 injured, prompting fears of a humanitarian crisis. Both Congolese authorities and the United Nations insist that Rwanda is backing the M23, whose fighters say they've captured all of Goma. The M23 is now understood to be advancing towards Bukavu. This is the capital of South Kivu province. Well, the BBC's Paul Njie and his team have managed to gain rare access to rebel-held Goma, with Paul sending in this report on what life there looks like now following the M23's takeover.
The stringent patrol of rebels on the streets of Goma now counts as the new normal. It's the first time the BBC is entering the besieged city since the M23 claimed control of the territory. We only had few hours to document life here because the security situation remains volatile.
So we've crossed the Rwanda-DRC border, and driving through Goma town, what I noticed was a buzzing activity, commercial activity. Drivers are going through and people are also walking on the streets as though nothing was happening. But I'm eager to see if this would be the same situation inside Goma itself, where the fighting has been happening over the last week.
In the heart of Goma, there are still signs of fierce fighting between the rebels and Congolese forces. Banks, shops and other services are closed. There is a semblance of peace, but along the streets, the remnants of war.
A few meters away from where I'm standing is the UN base MONUSCO. But here, we can see among things that have been trashed, military fatigues and gear. We don't know the scenes that played on these streets, but one thing is for sure, the residents here do not feel totally safe with scenes like this.
People are afraid because when they burn these military fatigues and ammunition, they can explode and injure people. We request the government that has taken over to remove them from the streets. Inside these heaps of military leftovers, there may be grenades and live ammunition, which can be very dangerous.
This used to be a filling station, but as you can see, everything seems to have been damaged. Over there, I see bullet holes on that bus, and it's reminiscent of the scenes that might have played here. People are walking on and looking at this area. Although they are going about their activities normally, they know that at any time, anything could change.
Over 700 injured people are receiving treatment here. Even on their hospital beds, they still carry memories of how the fighting has deprived them of a normal life.
I was in my house when the shooting started. Suddenly, my hand felt cold and I realized I had been shot and I screamed for help. But they continued firing. I came out of the house screaming.
It might be difficult for the threat of violence to disappear anytime soon. So victims of this 30-year conflict can only bank on their hope to stay alive. At least for now. Paul Njie, BBC News, Goma.